if it wasn't for Jesus Christ and David Wilkerson, Teen Challenge, when I was 14 in 1964, I'd still be out there. Maybe dead. God had a destiny for me.
But a priest sexually molested you?
Me, yeah. He molested me. Molested not only me, but hundreds of kids. They were doing this for years.
Through the Catholic Association?
Yeah, Catholic Association. They had these orphanages in Kearney, New Jersey, where they were molesting
And because that occurred in your life, it caused you
to be violent.
To be violent, and it also caused you
to fall in drug addiction. And to become part of a gang.
And one thing led to another.
One thing led to another.
Because you come from New York, right?
Yeah.
Up in the Queens or the Harlem
Bronx.
or the Bronx?
Harlem, the Bronx.
Okay, Harlem.
Yeah.
Who'd you run with?
I ran with a couple of gangs. I ran with the gang that was in the Young Lords. I ran with them. I also was in another gang, and 2 or 3 other gangs. And,
are you familiar with that gang up there now that Donald Trump keeps talking about, Topeka?
That's another gang.
You familiar with that gang?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm familiar with their tactics. They all use the same thing.
What are they just a bunch of white supremacists or what?
No.
Are they like what do you call them?
Nazis?
Nazis or whatever?
They have 2
skinheads?
Yeah, they have 2 of them in I saw 2 in Camden. I was in Walmart.
Camden in Tennessee?
Yeah. I saw 2 of them in Camden.
It had some sort of a Nazi sticker on
Yes.
it? Really?
I saw 2 of them.
Talking about Antifa?
Yeah, Antifa.
I saw they're all over. They're all spread over.
Yeah,
so this whole thing with this black.
You probably witnessed people getting killed and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, I
back years ago whenever you was a teenager.
We fought in gang fights. I fought in gang fights when I was a kid.
You seen people get just
on the bridge.
Yeah.
On the old bridge, the old
Manhattan Bridge?
Yeah, the old bridge that was torn down.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I went up there in the 90s in a crusade, and somebody was preaching the gospel that was associated with the Black Panthers. Who was that?
You know something?
Who was developing that movement during that time? Because whoever it was, man, they was laying it on thick.
Yeah, the Black Panthers were revolutionaries. They say Obama was a Black Panther, but he really wasn't. He was kicked out of the Black Panthers.
Was that Louis Farrakhan that I was listening to up there?
Louis Farrakhan was a Black Panther.
Louis Farrakhan is protected almost like the president.
Yeah. And then there's a pastor in Texas.
But you won't see Louis Farrakhan on none of these national TV shows.
There's a pastor in Texas, Trinity Pentecostal Church in Texas.
Yeah.
In Clark.
Yeah.
He was a former. He's a former runner with the Black Panthers. He was in the past.
So, who's kicking off this black movement? Black Lives Matter movement.
It's coming from Germany.
It is.
Yeah.
A black woman in Germany who is, she was born in America. Her family moved to one of the Muslim countries, I can't remember where, and ended up in Germany.
Yeah.
And where she became a Christian. But she keeps a lot of the Muslim ideas just simply to get things stirred up.
But the Democratic Party is behind a lot of this mess. You have some people that want to stir up trouble.
So Trump's correct whenever he talks about that, then, isn't he?
Yeah, he's correct. He's correct.
He ain't lying whenever he talks about that.
I mean, he's not a savior. Nobody can save us but Jesus.
Right.
But he's
the bald woman.
No.
The one who's bald, the black woman who's bald.
Yeah.
She's
a Muslim
feminist.
Is that the woman that just got through getting a cussing 3 days ago by a congressman?
I don't know. I don't keep up. But I know that that's her. She's not really a Muslim. She's actually a Christian. But she's trying to get the Muslims stirred up in the Black Lives Matter movement so she can run basically the forerunner of the Kingdom of the North.
Yeah.
And get all us stirred up and get everything started.
All right, what are they talking about whenever they talk about the Deep South?
They're talking about the deep state.
Well, what are they talking about the deep state?
You know, they used to talk about
Is that
the
going
black
into
government.
Confederacy or something?
You know, they used to talk about the black government.
Yeah.
Well, now they're calling it the deep state, trying to tie it into the Confederacy.
Yeah. So they tried to.
Tying it into the Confederacy.
Yeah, it's not really, because Antifa is dealing with those who are racist,
Right.
but the headquarters of all these things,
Is where?
New York.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not the South.
Donald Trump's hometown.
It's
Yeah.
not. This is not coming from this so-called racism is all Illuminati, Masons coming
Actually,
to.
you're actually wrong on that, and right. It's a group referred to as the Rosicrucians.
Yeah, I know that. That's
As a
the
what?
Catholic Church. The
Rosicrucians.
Catholic Church.
Rutherford.
Yeah, Rosicrucians.
Rosicrucians. They use the Illuminati and the Masons as a shield.
Yeah, it's a Catholic Church.
All right, let me ask you this, since you know so much about all this stuff, because it seems like you're pretty knowledgeable. I got a group of people that live right down by my house called the Wiccans.
Witchcraft.
It's
Witchcraft. But according to the Wiccans, they got another group that's over them called the Ancient Ones. Who are the Ancient Ones?
That's a mess of group you don't want to get into.
That's a mess you don't want to even.
Think about it. They sometimes
Is that up there right where with the Illuminatis and the Masons and all that?
they're kind of in the same roundabout group. They are kind of a branch off. They believe in sacrificing animals unless they're
Yeah.
really far out there, and they sacrifice humans.
And what else? You know, the ancient reptilians. You know, the Catholic Church.
Are these the people that's associated with Scientology?
No, they believe in keeping the old ways, the old pagan rituals alive.
So this don't have nothing to do with Scientology?
No. They are
Are
trying,
they powerful
they
financially?
financially, no, but they keep in touch with those who are.
Yeah. So they got their financial supporters, secret ranks. You know, and the Masons go up to. They go to 34th level, and when they hit 34th level of the Masonry, they go to 1, and then they shoot up to 90.
And then they become automatically
Okay.
members of the, what was you saying? I can't remember the name.
Illuminati's?
Yeah, Illuminati.
Okay.
And then when they get to a certain level of Illuminati, they have the opportunity to become Rosicrucians, and the top of the Rosicrucians is the Jesuits.
Yeah.
Is the Jesuits.
Yeah.
The Jesuits.
Yeah.
He's evil.
Evil.
Evil at his core.
Do they have churches set up for the Jesuits?
The Jesuits is the Catholic, militant arm of the Catholic Church.
Yeah. They perform sacrifices underneath the Rome. They have things in there in the ancient library. You can go check this out. You can check the ancient library.
Is Ireland in touch with all this?
Yeah. If you are a part of the Catholic Church and you don't pay your dues, or you step out of line and enough to be noticed high up, they'll send the Jesuits out to take care of it.
And what does the Jesuits do?
They either, if you can't pay, then you pay in hide. The Jesuits believe in flogging themselves for repentance.
They'll actually come to your house and tar and feather you, is what you're saying.
No, they'll kill you. Then burn your house down and say it was arson. Of
There's
course
so
it
much
was, but
There's so much injustice. They're playing with portals. They're trying to open up that, you know, the ancient portals, you know, where they have the giants and where the angels were put into that place. They're trying to open up those portals. The Catholic Church is doing all this craziness. Now they're having the summit, and they're, you know, the Pope's calling the summit, and you're going to have Jesse Duplantis, you're going to have Kevin Copeland, all the big wigs, J.D. Flakes, or Fake,
All the big conglomerates,
yeah,
basically.
they're going to go, and they're going to team up. They're going to join up.
don't fool yourself. Trump is no saint.
No, he's not.
He's part of this too. He's just the face, the good guy face right now.
But if the truth be known, pertaining to him having these desires towards wanting to drain the swamp, it's kind of like what Jesus said, that how can Jezebel or Lucifer cast out Jezebel, that a divided house will not stand. And basically what Trump is stirring up is impossible to be done, because you got the wicked trying to outgrade the other wicked, or outrank the other
What does the Bible
wicked.
say about that? He
Exactly.
allowed the wicked to destroy the wicked.
He's not even doing that.
That's what he said, right?
But he's not even doing that. What he's doing is providing a legitimate face for the good guys. Democrats get to be the horrible bad guys, and you don't notice what's going on the other side.
No, Republicans and Democrats, they're both got. They're.
I blame both sides. I blame both sides, but
Yeah.
most importantly, I blame the church sector
They have
that
to
has
stand up.
allowed for this to get in the shape that it is.
Exactly. See,
That's right, the church.
The church. It began at the church house, not the White House, but the church house.
They allowed it.
but Bobby is partially right, because you have Democrats and Republicans that are trying to do the right thing. But the majority of Democrats and Republicans are working behind the scenes with the churches.
Yes, because if you get to looking at the unions that's in control of the big police stations, guess who's in control of the unions? The people that go to the churches, the mayors, the assistant mayors, the commissioners, and all those people go to churches, and they're usually Baptists.
Yes.
I hate to tell you.
So what's the next step? Civil war.
Oh, come on.
Civil war, right?
I don't know. I don't think it's right yet.
Not yet, but it's coming.
It is coming, because that's what they're trying to happen. They tried to start a race war, and they're further than that they ever have been. They've tried to start getting people out in the street panicking over the coronavirus,
Yeah.
fight over that. Oh, you can't go out to buy your groceries, but
Andrew.
you can go out
Come on,
to
buddy.
protest.
What happened?
Do what?
You can't go out. John's right. You can't
You
go
see
out.
now? I'm gonna hold up. 4.
You can't go out and do any of these things. You're forbidden to do that. There's so much, and he studied. And if you need more proof, I could probably get you the proof that you're looking for, the documents that you can look at. There's some things you can look at in John too. John, there's some stuff I came across that'll blow your mind. It's a secret treaty, a secret document that they don't want you to know about. It talks about the whole scam.
Well, can I say this to y'all? Whenever I was out in Northern California, I wound up renting from a woman that was Spanish descent. Of course, you run into a lot of that out in California.
Yeah, we do.
That was running a rental house. That was running a rental house that was associated with the Witness Protection Program. She run one of the biggest nightclubs in Northern California. Her son was the sheriff in the county where Lodi and Stockton is. Her son was the sheriff, and her son-in-law was a U.S. Marshal.
Yeah. We were talking about the market.
Okay, all right, listen to this. This is what happened to me. October the 31st, Halloween. I was working in Stockton, California doing auto body work. This is in 2012. Whenever I first got the job, they done a state background check on me, and it showed up perfect. You know why? Because I'd never worked and lived in California. And I had lived in California, but I didn't work. So it's going to show up clean. But another 3 days went by, and it showed up about my nation global thing. And whenever that happened, they basically booted me. They said, "We don't need you." I went to this woman that I was renting from and told her about the problems that I just got through experiencing. In less than 3 hours later, after that I had rented out the apartment the night before, handed her $750, I got 20 Hell's Angels that pulls up at my apartment and tells me you're fixing to get everything that you put in that apartment and you're fixing to load it up and you're fixing to get off this property right now. And I told him, I said, you can't do that. I said, money's done already exchanged hands. You can't validate this contract that I've made with this woman. They said, you just watch and see. While one was holding me on a gun, calling me everything in the world, 3 or 4 of them was going into my apartment, getting everything that I just got through putting in my apartment the night before and throwing it in the back end of my truck. The only good thing that I can say about it is they took $700 and throwed it in my floorboard and said that you're one lucky son of a you-know-what. Get off the property now. Well, I get off the property. Guess what I do? I call 911. I've just got through having almost a robbery taking place out here. I need for some of my police officers to come out here and find out what's going on. So I'm sitting in front of this property. 2 California police officers comes pulling up. I told them what the problem was. They said, you just wait right here. We're fixing to go up here and check that story out, and then we'll be right back. I said, okay, I'm waiting for you. They come back about 30 minutes later. You know what they tell me? This was sworn police officers in the state of California wearing a badge and a uniform. They said, Mr. Jackson, if you've got any sense at all, you'll get in your automobile and you'll keep driving. And you won't report this to nobody and you won't say another word about this. You got your money, go on down the road. Now that was about as illegal comes. But I tell you what that told me. That told me that Hell's Angels is in control of political matters, not only out in California, but all over this freaking nation.
In New York too, East Village, they control all parts of it.
Sure they do. They'll tell the judges what to do.
Even the police were scared to Hell's Angels. But I know that when I was in New York.
A matter of fact, if you're a good maker, if you can make good drugs, good meth, and you decide all of a sudden you're going to break away from that organization, they'll come and threaten your family, and they'll tell you, you're going to continue to make these good drugs for us. If not, we're coming after your family.
You know what, Dennis, this whole thing
It's corrupt.
It's conspiracy.
It's corrupt, brother.
All these people that we see in the major league, all of them should be charged for treason.
Yes.
Because some of them have been in office 60 years, 33 years.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, John,
they're tearing this country apart, man.
And like I said, the church has stood there and watched.
The churches have stood there and watched.
And that's all. Well, we don't have to worry about it. We got plenty of time.
As long as they patted the preacher's pocket, wasn't a word said, was it? And I'm just not talking about this preacher knowing that this one's jumping in this one's bedroom or that one's jumping in that bedroom. I'm talking about preachers that knew that dirty deals was going on all over this countryside,
I know
and they remain quiet.
I know some. You can go to Scott. So does him. I'm quite sure John knows him too. That are getting $175,000 a year to pastor a church, and you know we are. You know we are.
It's hush money.
Hush money.
Hush money.
$175,000 a year plus a big $400,000.
Yeah.
Right
Plus we'll give you a car to drive. Plus
That's
we'll
right.
give you insurance. Plus we'll give you benefits on the side where you can take your kids and put them through college.
That's it.
It's all about greed. It's all about money. It's all about corruption is what it is. Are you cramping?
No, I got bad knees.
You know what? You know what's good for cramps? Mustard.
Yeah.
About a half a spoon of mustard will take those cramps away.
You going outside again?
No. Switching chairs.
I'm telling him that mustard will take cramps away.
Yeah. But he'll tell you. Okay. Conspiracy. Brother Dennis, but if you need anything, and I can help you with any information, I'm quite sure John got some too. So that you can see this for yourself, you know.
I had a Black Hawk helicopter come over my house and raced it off my computer.
Really?
Yeah. I was going to write a book, and I had everything,
So Andrew,
all of it connected all the way up,
they get ready to eat.
all the way to Coke. And they hovered over my house when we were away. My brother, former brother-in-law, said there was. I heard the helicopter. I went out and looked, and there was a Black Hawk helicopter hovering over the house. And I went and looked, and everything I had saved on my computer was erased. Now I was writing a book about this stuff. I'm going to tell you something.
In 1991, I was on my way to Washington, D.C. to expose a bunch of politicians pertaining to the Bushes at that time. They stopped me in Wheeling, West Virginia. They stopped me in Wheeling, West Virginia, kicked down my door in a hotel, and arrested me, and I remained arrested for a week before I even had a charge on me. You know what the charge was? Assassination charge. They said that I was on my way to Washington, D.C. to take out George W. Bush. But yet now, during the time that I made these claims, they said it was on a 911 telephone call. Well, whenever my attorney requested for the tape to be played, it had everything in there about what was being said on the telephone, except one thing. There was no valid threat to the leader of this great nation. There was never a threat. Don't you think I know better than to threaten a judge or a senator or a president or anybody associated with this government? Man, you don't never threaten those people. You don't threaten those people's lives like that. But they marked me as me being a potential homegrown terrorist. And of course, whenever I wound up out in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and proved that there was a cover-up pertaining to the Timothy McVeigh Nichols bombing, from then on, they pulled the cork on me, and I didn't have a snowball chance in hell towards ever even getting out here and even getting a public job towards working in the auto body career, towards working for a dealership or a major body shop. I got hired in Basalt, Colorado, which is less than 12 miles from Aspen, Colorado. You know where Aspen, Colorado is? It's up in the high country, where all the rich people go. I had a job, guaranteed. Had a job, right? I was working at the time in Knoxville. Went all the way out there, passed the P test, done the orientation, dropped my tools off, and that Sunday, got a telephone call from the boss man telling me we got a problem. I go, what's the problem? Well, we've done some research on you, and we found out that you've got into some stuff out in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I go, I ain't got a felony. Y'all asked me if I had a felony, and I didn't have a felony. You asked me if I could pass the P test, and I passed the P test. I go, what's the problem? I've already went through the orientation. They said, well, this ain't going to work. We want you to come up here Monday and get all your tools and gather them up and leave. I go, do what? I've driven 2,000 miles out here to get up here, and you going to tell me that I'm going to just take all my tools and leave? I said, I'll tell you what, and I told them this Monday whenever I was up there at their shop, I said, the only way that I'm going to leave, if you cut me a check for $2,000 for expenses, because I had a job. And I said, if you don't cut me a check, I'm fixing to go down here at the local media, and I'm fixing to expose you. Did you know in less than 5 minutes I had a check cut? But I didn't pack up my tools until I went down to the bank and I cashed it. You know why? Because they could always stop the check. Once you get your tools out of their compound or their body shop, all they had to do is pick up the phone and said, oh, I just got through writing this check, put a block on it. What's it cost? $8 to block a check? $12 to block a check? You know, I've played that circus before. But anyways, because of my background, it costed me my job. It was coming into my professional life at that time simply because I stood up on national TV and told the people that there was a government cover-up pertaining to the McVeigh Nichols bombing that happened in 1995 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And since then, I have suffered tremendously. The ministry, because I've been a part of a ministry now for 30 years. I'm the founder of the Windmill Ministries. Do you think they care? Do you think they care?
I can tell you they don't, and I can tell you why. I know they don't. There was a book written when Reagan was in office about that bombing before it happened, and they also mentioned the bombing of 9/11. Saying it was the same guy.
Have you ever read up on Ed Gunderson, an FBI agent that used to work in Memphis, Tennessee?
Sounds familiar.
He exposed all kinds of stuff that the FBI was a part of towards burying people and setting people up. Uh-huh.
Okay.
This thing just doesn't start up at the top pertaining to Washington, D.C. It goes from the front end all the way to the back end, brother.
And sadly, sometimes the president is even in where.
Yeah. But the deal with Bill Clinton and Janet Reno,
They knew.
it was Janet Reno that put the brakes on the standoff
Yeah.
during the 40-day standoff, the 51-day standoff down in Waco. Along about the 40th day, Janet Reno got on the telephone and said, "We're going to stop this because it's making us look like fools."
But you know,
And from that moment on, it went from a rescue mission to a doomsday mission because somebody gathered up about 4 boxes of dynamite and was going to use it on the Davidians. It just so happens that the tank that they used that day towards using those fire retreat things, it just so happens they didn't have to use the dynamite. But somebody kept the dynamite in the lower part of the freaking Mario building, and the day that the explosion happened with the ammonia nitrate, it was a strong enough explosion. Explosion number 1 created explosion number 2, and that was what actually killed them. Killed 176 people that day in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Well, you know, there was a tape, and it aired on ABC, saying, why are we killing these people? Are they terrorists? And so I said, no, we're killing them because they're Sabbath keepers.
Because they're Sabbath keepers.
Yeah. He was a general talking.
Wow. Good meeting y'all.
good meeting you, Brother Dennis. Hope to see you next time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm with Dennis when I have a ride.
Okay.
I'm calling.
God bless.
Well, nice talking to you.
Take care.
God bless.
Yeah, I'm feeling better now. I haven't had anybody want to talk to me about all this stuff. I have the pyramid going from the Catholic Church all the way down, branched out in various religions. But the
You
Baptist,
talking about the Templars a while ago, wasn't you?
yeah,
Yeah, the Templars.
the Baptist Church became a part of this in the 1980s.
See, the Templars and the Masons are basically the same.
Yeah,
They're just dressed up a little different.
yeah.
And there's another one or two of those groups out there that are similar to each other, but they're